Pokemon trading card game pre-release events are, in my opinion, one of the best ways to enjoy the game. You go along to your local gaming store, pick up one of these build and battle sets, make a deck, and then challenge the people in the room, see how you get on. However, given that times are a bit weird right now, there are no physical events happening, but we do have a brand new set of Pokemon cards. So this was my opportunity to come on the internet, talk about Pokemon again. Well, more specifically, I'll talk about how a pre-release event would normally work and maybe some tips. So next time you go along to one, you might have that competitive edge. Who knows? You might still lose. However, before we open this up and see what's inside, I just want to go over a couple of quick tips for people who've maybe not been to a pre-release before, or perhaps not even an organised event like this before. If you're a seasoned pro and want to just see what's inside these packs, I'll put the timestamp below so you can skip ahead. Now, the first thing I should recommend if you're going to one of these events is picking up some card sleeves. Card sleeves are cheap, they come in lots of different colours, designs, and from different brands. And they are essential, really, if you want to protect your cards while you play with them. There's nothing worse than pulling a really good card and then shuffling it into your deck and potentially scratching it or bending it. I mean, that's the worst thing if you come away from your pre-release event with really good cards that aren't in as good condition as you started with. So pick up some sleeves. You can get them for really cheap, £2 or £3, and they're going to go a long way to keeping your cards in good condition. The next thing I'm going to talk about is a bit more essential for gameplay. You're going to need some kind of tokens, coins, and my preference, dice when you're playing the game. Now, these are used for tracking damage on yours and your opponent's Pokemon. They're also used for deciding coin flips. You can even roll a dice to determine a coin flip, and it's much, much easier than trying to flip a coin or fiddling around with lots of different tokens. However, these are still totally fine, and you can find them in theme decks. Dice are available in Elite Trainer boxes, or you can always just pick up some generic dice from your local game store. These are pretty essential for gameplay, but there's usually people with spares, so if you don't happen to have them on the day, just ask the person sitting next to you and I'm sure they'd be happy to lend you. Last but not least is a playmat like this, and these are really optional. I mean, for me it's more of a preference. I like to have my own playmat. Most gaming stores have a good surface for you to play on as well, but sometimes it's nice to put your own playmat down, to have your own area, and then you can keep all your things organised. But it's really not essential and something you can pick up later. Right, let's get down to business. So when you start your pre-release event, you're going to be given one of these boxes and a time limit to build a deck. Let's see what we get inside. You're going to get a small leaflet that's going to give you some general tips. You're going to get a seeded pack of cards, including one of 4 promo cards. These are really nice because they have alternate art to the regular card in that set, and they're usually pretty good. You're also going to get a couple of evolution lines in here, which are probably going to form the basis of your deck. You're also going to get 4 booster packs from the new set. And what you're going to have to do is build a 40 card deck from your seeded pack, your 4 booster packs, and energy cards that are provided by the store, or you can bring your own. Now, this is the fun bit where you get to open some packs, see some new cards, and build a deck. And at the end of the day, if we don't win our games or we don't get to build a very good deck, it doesn't really matter. We're still having fun. And everyone's in the same boat. So, let's get to it. First off, let's take a look inside this seeded pack. Now, I can already see we've got a Garbodor promo, which has nice alternate art, and it has the ability Poisonous Puddle. Once during your turn, if a stadium is in play, you may make your opponent's active Pokemon poisoned. Now, effects like this, they're not as common in, Pokemon tournaments. However, in pre-release events, they can be really effective because people haven't made strategies to defend against them. So let's quickly go through what else we've got here. We have an Applin, we have a Turffield Stadium, a Dan, and trainers and supporters like this, you're probably going to want to run all of them in your deck. We have a Professor's Research, a Sonia, a Caterpie, another Caterpie, a Metapod. You can see why this is seeded. It's because they have evolution lines built in, just to make deck building a bit easier. We've got Butterfree, another Butterfree, a Trubbish, so we can evolve into Garbodor if we want to, Evolution Incense, Professor's Research, which is actually from the last set, but it's a really powerful card and it's going to be in pretty much every deck going forward. We have another Sonia, Impidimp, one of my favourites from Sword and Shield. We've actually got 3 of them, and we've got Morgrem and a Grimmsnarl. So we've got a decent evolution line there to run that. So okay, we've got something to work from. We've got some dark types, we've got some grass types, and we've got some decent trainer cards to get going. However, that's not enough to build a deck. More likely than not, it is going to build the backbone of our deck, but the exciting part is seeing what we get here. So, without further ado, let's open these packs. Now, we're obviously looking for V and VMAX cards. However, even if we do get one, it might not necessarily work in our deck. Let's do the old shuffle trick. See what we've got. So we've got a Growlithe, Roly-Coly, Meditite, Grubbin, Electabuzz, a Dark Energy, Milo, Shuckle, Luxio. We have a reverse holo Vullaby, and our rare is a Whiscash. Okay, so nothing standing out at me yet. We can start to make a mental list as we go along as to what we're pulling and what could potentially fit into our deck and what's going to do well in a pre-release tournament. Okay, on to the next pack. Bronzor, Toxel, Litwick, Lotad, Clefairy, a Water Energy, Lampent, Medicham, Beware, a reverse holo Phalanx, and our rare is a Galarian Darmanitan. Cool. On to the next one. We've got a white code card, so that's a good sign. If you don't know, a white code card pretty much guarantees you're going to get a holographic card. Okay, we have a Hatenna, Scyther, Nosepass, Wingull, Coughing, Grass Energy, Beware, Palossand, Training Court, reverse holo is a Snover, and the holo rare is a Duraludon. Cool. That is a very nice card. Right, so we've got one pack left. We've not pulled any V or V Max, but that's not the end of the day. We can still make a pretty good deck without them. And we've got our last pack here to open now. See what we've got, see what we can put together. Alright, so Caterpie, Barboach, Arrokuda, Stuffle, Lotad, a Grass Energy, Luxio, Dracloak, Bronzong, reverse holo Magmar, and we've got something good. It's an Eldegoss V. Nice. Okay, so we were looking at potentially running Grass Energy. This is a basic V Pokemon. Has the ability Happy Match. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench during your turn, you may put a supporter card from your discard pile into your hand. That is a really powerful ability and pretty much guarantees we're going to run it in this deck. So the next step, and the next thing I'd recommend, is sorting your cards into piles by type and taking a look at what you've got. So let's do that. So once that's done, it's really easy to see actually what you can make from the cards you've got. Right now I've got two big piles of grass and dark Pokemon, and you can go through the other types and just see if there's anything you can really do with it. I mean, here we've got a Growlithe by itself, we've got a Litwick that can evolve into Lampent, but then you've only got 1/1, and we've got a Magmar by itself. Now, you've got to keep in mind that in a pre-release with a 40 card deck, you don't want to run too many kinds of energy. Normally I'd stick with 1 or 2, 3 at a push, but you always have the benefit of normal type cards and Pokemon that are of a type, but they have a colourless attack cost. So what I'm going to do now is go through each pile and figure out, is this something I can run? I mean, I have a Darmanitan, but I don't have a Darumaka, so that's gone. I have a Wingull, and I have an Arrokuda. By themselves, they're not that great, and I don't really want to add in water energy just to play them. So, by going through that process, you can quickly take out cards that aren't going to work and make a deck from cards that will. Remember to leave some space for energy. You're going to want anywhere between 10 and 15, 16 energy cards in your deck, otherwise you're not going to be able to attack. And use lots of trainer cards. These are really going to decide the game for you. Things that let you search your deck for cards, things that let you draw more cards, these really speed up the game. So this is what I've come up with. It's a really simple grass and darkness deck, and a lot of this, as I mentioned earlier, has come from the seeded pack that we opened, where we got a lot of grass and darkness Pokemon, including this Garbodor promo card. The nice thing about this is we were able to add Eldegoss V. V Pokemon, not only do they look cool, but they're usually quite powerful. They have a lot of hit points, so they're hard to take down, and they quite often have really good attacks and good abilities. So the fact that this is a grass type meant it fits in with this deck really well. I've also got Scyther, who can power up Blinding Scythe with a Swords Dance the turn before, to do 90 damage with just 1 energy, which is really good, really efficient as well in a pre-release. We're then running this line of Caterpie, Metapod and Butterfree, with the added benefit of Caterpie and Metapod's abilities Adaptive Evolution, which really speeds up how quickly you can get Butterfree out on the playing field. Now, Butterfree has a nasty attack, Panic Poison, which only does 30 damage. However, it does poison, burn and confuse your opponent, which is not what they want. Sadly, we only pulled 1 Trubbish, but I still want to run this 1-1 line of Trubbish and Garbodor. Garbodor is our promo card. I kind of wanted to use it, but it's got a nice ability, Poisonous Puddle. Once during your turn, if a stadium is in play, you may make your opponent's active Pokemon poisoned. So as well as Butterfree, we're really leaning into that poison effect with Garbodor and just trying to mess with our opponent and grind down their hit points. Rounding up the Pokemon, we've got 3 Impotimp, 2 Morgrem and 2 Grimmsnarl. Some of my favourite Pokemon from Sword and Shield. Grimmsnarl has 170 hit points with the Dark Oath ability, which means when it's in the active spot, your opponent's attacks cost 1 more energy, which is a great way to slow down your opponent. And remember, in a pre-release situation, your opponent's probably not running a deck with a ton of energy acceleration like they would in a competitive tournament. So that is a good way to slow them down. As for trainer cards, I've actually put in everything. Professor's research is obvious, but the rest are just going to be helpful. Some of them are more situational than others. We've got a couple of stadium cards to use with Garbodor, but most of those are going to be handy. And then the rest of the deck is going to be grass and darkness energy. And that pretty much wraps it up for this video. I've taken you through what I would do in a pre-release event. The next things to do would be sleeve up these cards, shuffle them into a deck, and take on your first opponent, see how you do. But unfortunately, because we're all stuck indoors, that's not going to happen just yet. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Leave a comment below with your favourite card from Rebel Clash, or if you've already pulled some Rebel Clash packs, let me know your best pulls. Any VMAX, any Rainbow Rares, any Secret Rares, there are a couple out there. And hopefully I'll be back soon with some more Pokemon card stuff. I don't know. Who knows? Crazy times.